everyone. Welcome. I'm going to switch to my chatting channel. What we were doing last week was building a custom admin screen for a plugin. So we got to the point where we had basically this going on. We have some tabs, which I think I'm just going to get rid of those tabs because I've been thinking about it and I don't think we need it. I think our page is going to be a lot simpler. Tabs just make it complicated. So let's look at some code. So, I'm going to switch over my little coding view here. So what we did last time was we registered a plugins page. We rendered a place like a target for us to actually render this React application. We enqueued our stuff. We registered some settings, which, why is that yelling at me there? Oh. That's weird. What is it? Okay, so this is... Oh, it expects to be out here. Sorry, PHP-CS does not like me. I'm going to go ahead and add word count to my that's just a spelling thing. I have an add-on or an extension for VS Code that checks spelling, because if any of you've seen any of my streams, you know that's two things about me: I can't spell and I cannot type. Which is hilarious because I literally get paid to type. Anyhow, Sarah N88, hello, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Cool, yeah, cool. All right, so that's kind of what we've done, and I think where we left off last time was when we hit this little magic button here, we were actually getting some saving happening. So let's look in the console here, see. Okay. Is that not doing anything? Okay. Oh, right. So we got our word count and we got our word count here. So we need to get some controls in place. So let's look. So in our settings, this is as much for me as it is for everyone else. We're getting a little unable to resolve path. So why is that? Do I not have node modules installed here? Weird. All right. Well, let's open this up in the integrated terminal. And we're going to do a little npm clean install. Weird. Node modules went away. Yeah, so just getting this all going here. Okay, and while I'm in here, I'm just going to go npm. See, this is still going to be a problem. Wait, do I have that? Okay, so we've added that to our dependencies. We shouldn't have this thing. Shouldn't be yelling at us anymore. Okay, so I'm going to say npm start, which is going to put us in our build process because we're using WordPress scripts. I'm going to just hide this window, and we don't need that running. Cool. So this is how. So we rendered the page. Great. And then we've got our settings screen, which looks like this. And then okay. All right. So let's get some documentation in here. This is going to be our WordPress. Capital P, dang it, dependencies, right? Okay, so you can see it's yelling at us about a couple of these things are missing. So like I said, I mentioned this last time, but so this is VS Code telling me that like, I can't find any of that stuff because we haven't actually installed it. Now with WordPress and specifically the scripts package, we don't need to install these packages into our package.json for the JavaScript to work because there's a magical plugin, a Webpack plugin called the dependency extraction plugin that converts the import statements into accessing them on the global, which appears, which is when WordPress enqueues these packages, it enqueues it a global object called the WP object, and we can find all of these things. So this is just yelling at us, but it's good to have these installed. It's good to have these installed. Sorry, what am I doing here? Because it will help you to you get better code inspection, you get better auto completion, and you don't get these errors. There's a question. Do you have advice on how to keep packages up to date automatically in CI or CD similarly? Well, if you're using the scripts package, there is a packages update command that you can run. I don't know if you'd want to update this stuff. Well, first of all, if you're doing anything with the WordPress stuff, the version doesn't really matter because you're not actually importing any of the JavaScript. Sometimes, like for things like the scripts package, or if you're using like env and some of the other packages, that does matter. I would probably just run this npm packages update, and that'll try to update all the WordPress packages that you're running. I'm not sure if updating your packages automatically with like continuous integration or anything like that is a good idea. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like, you know, I'm open. You know, tell me if you think it is, because I feel like if you update a dependency without kind of like testing it first, you're gonna get in. You could get into a bunch of problems. But yeah, I would run the packages update every once in a while. You can just do it, you know, and then it'll just update your package.json and lock. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So we want to save. We can just. I think if I just run at WordPress, and then what was the thing that was yelling me at here? Components. We're going to use that one a lot. Components at WordPress. The other one was core data and data / data. Oh my gosh. Data at WordPress core. Data. Well, let's let that run. So that should maybe create a forecast for final confirmation. Yeah, you could do that. There's a like the PaneBody, I think, does that in GitHub. It'll tell you when there's things that need to be updated and there's issues there. Cool. So we've got our dependencies running. I'm just gonna. Oh man, I'm gonna run my build command here, or my watch command, and just hide that for now. And then now you can see we're not getting any of these errors. Cool. So what we're actually doing here is, so there's this use entity prop, which is awesome, because what we're doing here is we are accessing, this is the name of our option that we created, I believe. Let's take a look. We registered it, yeah, down here. Let's see. Oops. The option group, the option name. So that's our option name. So what this is doing for us, I'm just going to close out, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot here. What this is doing for us is this is accessing the root and what is this, not getting much in the way of autocomplete. So this is typically the entity, the type, and then the data that you want. So we're accessing the root, like the main part of the site, with the site itself. It was 1 week after you installed Stupid Scripts and you already have 4 issues from audit. Crazy. Yep. Could be a bunch of dependencies and stuff in there. I didn't audit them when I ran it the first time too. So that could be part of it. But anyway, so what this is going to return to us is this is accessing that setting that we've created. And so this is sort of like use state. It's a hook. Where this is going to represent the data that's in here, and this is going to be a function that will actually update this option for us. Now I think we learned that we actually have to do some extra work here by running this as well to actually make it save. This will set it like in the state of the application, but this will actually save it to the database. If that makes sense. Cool. All right. So, retrieve the data, the settings object. Cool. All right. So, again, I need that. This is this thing. Okay, I don't think I need this anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of the tab panel because I just don't think we're gonna use that tab panel anymore because I don't like it. So we don't need that. I think we're just going to stack a bunch of things. So we can get rid of some of these. Let's use state we don't need. That we don't need. Okay. So if we run this and take a look at what we have going on in here, we can see that we've just got our header and we've got our button. And when we click this, it doesn't, well, it's probably saving something, but we're just not seeing anything back there. You know what else we need? We should also import from the i18n. This is gonna WordPress 18n, so we can flag this for we can flag this string for translation. And then I don't know what I set my text domain to, so I have to, oh my gosh. So we'll just go take a look at that. It should be in here, text domain. Oh, I didn't set that. Oh wait, do I have it? In text domain. Domain is going to be it's right there. So I'm using for, I'm going to put this in here. I think that's what you call it. I got to check that out. What is that empty string? This here? Is that what we're referring to? That's going to be transition call. Yeah, that's referring to the text domain. So when we're translating stuff, this knows that this is part of this particular section of stuff that needs to be translated. So this shouldn't make any difference here. We should still see save. But if you had a translation plugin installed, you'd be able to look in the text domain and add a translation for that if you wanted, or if we were providing translations, that's how we would target it. Okay, cool. So what did we say that we were doing here? So we're doing some word count stuff, right? Right. So let's get word count happening. So I'm gonna import internali. Oh boy. Internal dependencies, and we're going to import our word count. There we go, from word count. And I'm just going to plunk this right here. I don't know if this is going to work. So this is a custom component that's just going to sit below everything in here. Oh, I broke it. Last name is not defined. That is completely expected because this is not a thing. So we're going to put, this is going to take a prop of word count, and I'm going to set, oh my God, set a default of say 200 right here. And I'm going to put count in there. And then set class, and then in here, I'm just going to say console.log value. So this is just going to give us a text control that renders out here. Ooh, that's a big old text control. So this is not what we want. The label is going to be minimum, and here we should translate this as well. So again, we're going to need to import the from at WordPress I18n, and we're going to put that in there, and this is going to say minimum word count and pre-published checklist. Okay, so I think I'm going to need to install that. So I'm just going to go back over here and let's do this npm install WordPress I18n. Okay, npm start. Oops, start. Hide that again. All right, cool. So now let's see. So I refresh this minimum word count, and in here, if I change stuff, okay, we can see that I'm getting a bunch of stuff. And that's fine because I'm not actually updating this. What I need to do is I need to actually update this value. So, okay, so I guess that's interesting. Okay, cool. So that's our word count, and then we're gonna need what else? What was the other thing that we wanted? We wanted to have featured image, right? So let's do a new file. We'll call it featured image. I'm breaking this out into individual files, but some of these might be a bit overkill because I think this is just going to be a toggle. Featured image. fat arrow, right? For your fat fingers. Export default featured image, and then this is going to return. I think I need a toggle control. Let's see. Packages, components, and I'm gonna look for. Pretty sure it's a toggle control. That's what it's called. I'll answer your question in a second. Imana. Am I saying that right? Imana? Okay. So we're gonna import toggle control from here. Okay, all right. I'm gonna jump back over here, and I'm gonna need the toggle control. So again, word. No, get out of here. And then so we'll just return a toggle control. I think I could probably get away with just having an implicit return on this particular one, but we'll see in a second. Jump back over here, toggle control. Okay, so I haven't really decided how we're gonna handle the sort of like the saving stuff, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I want this, right? And I'm going to put it in here for my label. Put. I'm gonna take that out for now. Checked. Image required. I'm gonna set this. I'm gonna set some. I'm just gonna set default values for now, and then I'm gonna say onChange. Let's see. What can I use? State false. State. Oh, I see. I'm just gonna console down whatever the value is out of here. Yes, Amanda, yes, you can. You could limit it with a debounce, but that would be a weird experience because because it's an input. Like when I type, the expectation that I have is as I'm typing, this isn't what's happening right now because I haven't connected that. But my expectation would be that as I type, I see each individual thing in there, and that's all that's doing. So if you were to debounce it, for example, you would type a whole bunch of times and nothing would happen, and all of a sudden, blah, all your text would jump in, which isn't really the best experience. So I think what keeping re-renders to a minimum is important in React. But in this case, I think I have to kind of accept this, but I don't know. I'm not super deep into React. So if anyone on the call knows a really good way of keeping the responsivity of it in place, but also reducing renders, and I'm sure the Gutenberg team has spent a lot of time on this as well. So it's kind of like we just sort of have to accept it, I guess. Okay, so then if I come into my settings screen, I'm going to import. What do I call that thing? Featured image from each featured image. I'll just drop it below wherever I put word count. Right, do that. So we should now see a fixed backgrounds. Okay, so that needs to change. So this obviously has to change. Yeah. So I guess before I get too far into it, maybe we need to come up with a way of maybe we need to come up with a way of saving. We need to save this stuff in state, but we don't need to save it until we hit the save button. Does that make sense? So I'm sorry, I'm just thinking this through. There's a couple of ways that we could do it. We could make this a lot simpler and not actually, and just basically pass set Set demo setting? What's demo setting? I'm going to change that name. I don't like that name at all. Set. I'm just going to call it settings. Settings and set settings, because that's going to be really easy to say a lot. So we're going to hit set settings. So, I mean, what we could do is we could just say, so this word count is going to be, right, so we're going to want to pull out the, we got word count, we got required featured image from settings. So if I put this onto my here and say count is word count, and then I'm going to say on update. All right, I could do it this way. Callback, I guess, on update callback, and I could pass, where's that thing, set settings, like this, right? So then in my word count, I got the count. I should be able to get rid of this now. So let's see, right? So let's refresh this. I broke it. What did I break? Settings as it's undefined. Interesting. Why is settings undefined a minute ago? Oh, I bet. Hold on. I bet it gets undefined. Word count is not defined. Okay. I think I need to do like a, okay. I could do like, yeah. All right, so for now, I'm gonna do this. Settings, and I'm just gonna say return loading. This is ugly, but that's what I'm gonna do for now, because if it's not ready, I want it to, yeah, okay, that's what we want to do. So in here, I want, this is bad. We need a better loading process. I'd like to do something like is resolving. There's a selector that's available. It's called like is resolving. So you know if the request that you've made has resolved, and if it has resolved, then you can act accordingly. I've only ever used it with get entity records. Hey, Wolf EXYZ, thanks for the follow. Yeah, I've only ever used it there, so I'm gonna look at that. But for now, this is fine. I just don't want to do anything until we have settings available. I am well. How are you? Thanks for joining the chat. So now I should be able to destructure out word count and required feature image from settings, right? Me too. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. And then, so the set settings is going to be this. And now let's refresh this. That worked. Okay, so this isn't doing that. Okay, so we still need to manage. The state. So okay, So anyways, back over here. So now we've got word count displaying. Word count is coming from here. We've got on update callback. We have set settings. So in our word count, we're gonna need to get the on, what the heck did I call it? On update callback. So we're just gonna destructure that out. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're going to call it, and we know that we're going to, it is the Shades of Purple theme. Good eye. You see, I think what we need to do here is we need to, I think maybe we should use a different thing. Oh, sorry. So what I want to have happen here is I want to be able to do something like this, right? But in order to do this, like, so sorry. What I want to do is I want to be able to call that like this, right? But I want to say, I want to take whatever the new value of word count is, right? But then I also want to be able to spread the old stuff, right? So we're creating a new object every single time. But the problem with that is I don't have access to everything. I could pass all of the, I guess I could pass all of the settings. Like I could pass all of the settings as a settings prop maybe. And do it that way. But I'm thinking there's a like maybe I could use useReducer instead. So that goes in there so that I could just say, so then I have count, I have settings, I have count, and then I could spread settings and then update my word count value, right? So if I refresh this now, and I should be able to, so you see we've got this. So we can go 9,900, blah, blah, blah. All right, if I save that now, didn't, oh, okay. Huh, why didn't that work? That's updating. Okay, that's updating. Oh, this is why. Because I don't want that anymore. So this button is going to actually persist it to the database. And otherwise, I'm going to set this to 780. I hit save, I refresh it. Now it's saving that. Okay. So that's the one way, what's a way of doing it. The other way I was thinking was instead of like prop drilling, which I'm not a huge fan of, like basically I got to pass all this stuff down here. And what if word count has things inside it that does things? It's kind of not really what I want to do. So instead, maybe we could try useReducer. Let's look at useReducer. useReducer. Kind of build up our own little data store. If that's something that we want to look at. All right, so where is this thing? useReducer. So we can just have it dispatch a bunch of things. So if you're familiar with like Redux and data stores in general, this won't be new to you. The idea is that we have this function that handles the current state. You can't read that at all. Let me zoom that in. So the idea is that there's a single function that was referred to as a reducer function, and it reduces the state and changes state. And so what we would be doing here is we have the current state of the application, whatever that is, and it gets managed somewhere. It's managed basically by the reducer. All right, and then an action is dispatched, and then it checks the action and then does something and returns a new copy, a new state object that represents the state of that application. So this is probably a better way of doing this. We can do this in WordPress. There is a data store, like you can register your own store in WordPress as well. So maybe we should look at that. So there's the WordPress data in here, right? So we can do something where we have, it's a bunch more code, or it can be a bunch more code. So we would create our Redux store. We have our default state. We have some actions. So these are functions that dispatch an action. And then we have our Redux store. We have our reducer here that handles the thing. We have our selectors, which retrieves things. Controls, which are controls. How can I explain controls? So maybe I should read the docs. Find the execution flow associated with a specific action type. Oh, I see. Yeah. So when there's a, so if you have an action that dispatches something, you can have a control that's named the same, and what it kind of reaches out to the database, and so that's when you're changing something. But when you're retrieving something, you might need to have a resolver, and the resolver handles, like if you have a selector, which is where are my selectors? So if you have a selector, which means you want to retrieve something from the store, you would, it's called get price, you need to retrieve something, you can have a resolver that will behind the scenes return, like reach out to the database and do all that stuff. This is pretty complicated. So we could start with the useReducer hook, which is a React thing, or we could do it with datastore. There's 15 people on the call. Does anyone have any preference? You want to do a datastore? Do you want to do just a hook? And we'll see how it goes. I haven't used datastore before, so I'd be curious to see that in action. All right, Adam Wills Dev to the rescue. We're going to do a datastore. Woohoo! Okay, so let's do a datastore. So we're going to jump over here. I'm going to create a new file in here, and we'll call it datastore.js. So in our datastore, we're just going to follow this little example here, right? So we're going to register our store. So let's get some dependencies. WordPress, capital P, dang it. Press dependencies. There we go. So we need a couple of things. The first thing we're going to need is we're going to need this stuff. Create Redux store and register. So then we can start setting up some stuff. So this is going to be our default state. And it's going to be a const. It's going to be state, default state. Default state. And right now it's going to be an object. And an object is going to contain word count. Word count. And we're going to set the word count of 250 words. Random. Why not? We're going to say FeaturedImage required is true. And I'm going to just export this in case we need it somewhere else. So that's our default state. So that's how it starts out, so if you load this page for the very first time, this is what we get. Right? So now let's, oh, I see. Okay. So then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set some actions. And so you can think of actions as an action, as an event. Like if you're an action script that developer, actions would probably know, but you can also think of it as like, I want something, I want to trigger something. I want to trigger an action to occur. Right? So we're just going to keep them in, we're going to define our actions. So the only actions that we're actually going to need is, and I'm probably not explaining this right, but an action, so this is a function that just dispatches an object. That object is received by the reducer, and the reducer does something with it. And so what you typically would see is an object that would have a type, and this is usually a constant. So this is just a hard-coded string, but you would typically have those as a constant. And then I think the standard, the sort of best practice when you're dealing with stuff is to do payload, and that's an object. So yeah, is there any heavy React devs here, or any people doing a lot of React? Is this still the same? Because then when you write your reducer, you always know that in the payload object is the thing that you're looking for, because otherwise it could end up with a lot of randomly placed things. So it's just kind of a bit of a thing. So in our actions, we're going to need a couple of actions. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to need to update set word count. Set word count. Oh boy, that was not good. Set word count. I'm going to set the count to count. Right, and this is going to be a function. And what it's going to return is an object. Right. I'm going to define some constants in here for this because I prefer to do it this way. So const. This is going to be set word count. I'm gonna typo that, and it's gonna be not good. Set word count. So that is gonna be the type. So we're gonna say type is set word count, and then we're gonna say the payload. Payload is going to be word count. Payload's going to be word count. And that's that. Right? So we're also going to need to have, and this is just an object, so we're going to need to do this. And then we're going to need to, I'm just going to steal this set featured image is required. All right, and then we're going to do I'm just going to say set featured image because we know what this is doing, and that's going to be the type in here. And this is going to be the status, right? And we'll set the payload to status. And we'll do that. And then right now, I think that's all we really need. Those are all the actions that we would need to define. So as we create more controls, as we do more things, we're going to probably need more actions. We're going to need to be able to dispatch more things. Like for example, if I had an idea of being able to, the number of tags that you need to have on this, well, we'll need to do that. So we'll have to have a set tag count or like a whatever, that stuff. So those are our actions. So the next thing that we want to do is, oh, interesting. Okay. Okay, and sorry, I got sidetracked. So we want this reducer now. So this we could create our own. I'm going to create a reducer, const reducer function, reducer, and it's going to be like this, right? And so we see we've got state, default state. So it passes. I'm just going to steal this thing, and then we can mess around with it as we need to. So. Like that. Const. I'll call it function. Function reducer. So we've got. So we need to get our actions in here that we're checking for. So this is going to say action.type, which is our type. So if it's set word count, we're going to take the state, and then we're going to spread word count on. Oh, we need to get it from payload. So we're going to say const. I mean, we could do it like this. I guess we could say payload dot word count, right? Payload? No, payload dot word count. I'm going to do this. So so the reducer takes two parameters like we saw. It's got, the first is the state, whatever the state is. And in this case, if there is no state, it's going to provide that default state. And then it takes the action, and the action is the action is this object. Why is that? What is the problem here? What am I not seeing? Oh, wait. Word count. What is yelling at me here? Unexpected comma. I must have something else screwed up in here. Yeah, oh, right there. Nope. Nope. Let's put this back to where it was. So let's be action dot payload dot word count. Oh, word count. That's what it is. That's the problem. Okay. So yeah, so that's what we'd want to do. We'd want to take whatever the current state is, and then we're going to override word count with whatever word count gets passed. That makes sense. Wow, that was a long time getting there. So I do actually want to destructure out type and payload out of here, so that I can get rid of this action.type. I can get rid of this action.thing. I can do that. I need to delete this for now. And then even in here, I can go const word count equals payload, and then we can use object shorthand to make that a little easier. Okay, it's never read. That's fine. Okay, and then look at this again. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're doing it a little bit different. There's no default statement in our switch, but that's fine. Okay, so now we can add another case. The case is going to be set featured image, and then we're going to do this, and then the object is, what is the thing? Required featured image. And then it'll be required featured image, whatever that value is. So this is very kind of a lot of rinse and repeat here. All right, so now that we've defined our reducer, find the reducer, we can now register the store. We'll define and register the store. Define and register the store. We're still gonna have well, not a problem, but we're gonna have, so the store is going to be, look like this. Register. Okay, so we're gonna define our store. Const store, create Redux store, and this is gonna be a name, and it's gonna be an object. Right, and we're gonna call this pre-publish check list. Okay, and then this will be one of those thingies. And then in here, I think it just takes a bunch of, it takes, it's an object. So we have reducer, actions, selectors, controls, resolvers. So right now we've only got, I'm going to say reducer and actions, right? And then we can actually register the store by calling register, not reducer, register store. Okay, so now that should get us our store. So if we import, I'm going to import the store to here, import. I can just import data store. I think that'll just do it. Nope. Data store. Okay, so now let's go in here, and we can tell this is doing this, so no errors. So the thing I want to check out though is I want to look in Redux, because Redux, wow, this is really, I can zoom out a little bit. We can see that. And if you look in stores, we got our, so here's our pre-public, this is impossible to use. Sorry, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. So I have the React inspector controls and Redux inspector controls, so you can see that we've actually got our pre-published checklist here. If we look at the state, we've got word count 250 and all of this stuff. So if I were to dispatch an action, can I dispatch an action in here? It's got to be a way to dispatch and show dispatcher. So if I go type is, what if I do this? All right, I'm going to steal my action from here, and I'm going to do that. So, oh wait, you know what? I'm going to type, what's the type? The type is set word count. We'll see what happens here. I don't think we're going to see anything in the UI right now. And we're going to set payload. Okay, so we're going to set payload word count. Oh, good. Is going to set it to 1,000. What happens here? Dispatch. So you can see, so the set word count thing happened. So now if we look at our state, you can see that our word count has been updated, but we're not retrieving the stuff from it yet. So we can do that because that didn't update, but we can see that our store is actually working. I just manually dispatched. I've never done that in there. That's really cool. So you can set this up and have it dispatch. And the cool thing, what this really demonstrates is sort of like how state changes and how you're always returning a new state object, a new representation of the state of that object every single time. We're not, it's that idea of a pure function. It's that idea of never of it, like not a pure function, but like never, always having immutable state. Never, what's the word for if you're muting something? That's not it, but you all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So now that we have this data store available to us, we can do some cool things. We can we need to select the data store. All right, so we need to have like a onload. We need to have an onload. And I am unsure of how to handle that correctly right now. Let's think. So we need to be able to retrieve things, right? So how does one do that? Let's look. We'll look over in our data here. So it's a selector. So basically, we want to have we should have a selector for each status, each item there, right? And so so let's add some selectors in here. Define some selectors. So we can I'll just do const selectors, and these are going to be functions as well. I'm going to say get WordCount. Right, and basically what that's going to do is it's going to return state.WordCount. And then I think I can just pass selectors in here at any time. And so now we should be able to get the word count from our thing. So if we come over to our data store again, oh, sorry, where am I here? Here? No, here. Come in here. So actions. I don't know. Can you actually mess with? Like, I guess you can't really in there. So we're gonna need to get in some more code here. So if you're gonna use a data store, you can use. We can take useSelect. All right, useSelect. Right, and what we'll do is this is pulling from the settings object, right? So I'm gonna say const. I'm gonna get. This is gonna return some stuff, right? Equals. This is gonna be data. Go use select, and I'm drawing blank, so we get a select. Get the select object in here, right? Is this? God, I'm drawing a complete blank on how to use select. Use select. You did I think you WordPress. Let's look here. So registering. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. Cool. Yeah. That's how you use it. So I can look at that again. So use select. Okay, gets a function, right? It takes a function, it receives a function. God, man, it's been a while since I've used that apparently. Okay, so this is going to be like the select object, or the way that we can select our data store. So we're going to say, what are we doing here? Okay, cool. So we can go like this. We can say, we're going to return. We're gonna call this word count. Sorry, this is gonna make a lot more sense in a second. We're gonna go select, and we're gonna select our data store, which is what we call pre-published checklist, right? And then off the data store, we're gonna say get word count. And so, does that return it automatically? I think we have an implicit return happening here. Yes. So we're gonna have an implicit return, so I don't need. I can look at that again. That example's weird. Use select, implicit return. we can do that. Oops, get rid of that now. And I can console log. Call this from state. I'm going to just console that out. Console.log. WordCount from state. All right, so let's go over here now. So that's 250. All right. So that's okay. So that's correct because that is our default value. So what we need to do now at this point is we need to maybe we should do it this way. Here's what we should do. So, okay, so this will set the word count. Okay, so we're gonna create a new action, and the action that I'm gonna create is called const. What should we call it? State from storage. No, I don't like that. State from database. Right? And we're gonna do this. So set settings. All right. We'll do this. So this is going to return this object, right? And we're gonna, for this thing, we're gonna dispatch that event. And this is gonna be settings. We're gonna spread settings across payload, because that'll be the whole object. So that'll give us key value pairs. And then in here, in our reducer, when that runs, what we're going to do is we're going to return. We're just going to spread payload onto that, because this, because this payload will be the entire object. Yeah. So let's see let's see what happens here. Okay. So we need to use dispatch. Okay, so we're gonna need to use another one of these use dispatches. Am I making sense? Am I jumping around a lot? Does anyone have any questions? I feel like I'm really kind of like all over the place. So we're going to run another use dispatch, but we're going to dispatch it from our store, and that dispatch is going to be called the action that we just created, which is up here, and it's going to be set settings, and it's going to be like that. And so when this is loading, we're going to want to dispatch this event. This may not be the best place to do it, but I'm going to do it here, right? And then we're going to get it from settings in there. I'm going to call this something different. I'm going to say init settings. That's what we need to initialize the data store. I think I might be doing this slightly like incorrectly, right? And then, so we should be able to say, so let's just go console.log and then init settings. Console log before and after, so I hope these are going to be two different values. Let's just see. Maybe I just broke the whole thing. Who knows? Ooh, yep. What? Okay. Where's my build error there? Word count from state. Oh, that I don't need that. All right, so. So let's see what happens. Okay, so this is gonna init the settings, and then we get word count from settings. And then, so, okay, all right. So these are our initial values that get passed to word count. All right, any questions or unclear, things that are not clear on what I'm doing so far? So, hey man, how's it going? Owen Codes, it's going well. Thanks for dropping by. Cool. So now, because we have this data store available to us, we don't need to pass any of this stuff. We can just put our word count component in there, right? And then inside our word count component, which is here, we're going to just basically access the store. We're going to use some of these we're going to get this data stuff in word count, right? And so now what we can do is we can do the same thing up here. So we can say, we're going to do something like this. So what we're going to use the useSelect hook, right? We're going to get the word count, and then we're going to put it in there. And so now we don't need any of this. So now if word count changes, this should be updated. So I'm just going to leave this as blank. So I'm going to try doing this in Redux. Why is that being stupid? What's the problem here? Okay, here we go. So this should just take whatever word count is. We shouldn't see any difference here. So we have word count. So now we go into Redux and I go to dispatch and I say, I can't remember what our data store is calling it. It is going to be set word count is the type in there. I'm going to set the payload to an object, which is word count. I'm going to set it to 582. And with a little luck, it didn't work. That's our state. Did I do that wrong? Yeah, that's a Fender, and then I have a little Epiphone Les Paul sitting beside it. Okay, so why didn't that work? Let's see why that didn't work. Maybe this is. I have a guess that could be part of the problem. That it's initializing the settings from the database every time. So that's not. Oh, because I should be doing that in a different place. I'm going to do that in a different place. I think that's exactly what's happening. So every time the thing is rendering, every time the component is rendering, it's resetting the state. So that might explain why it's not doing it right. I think I need to add a useEffect hook to do that there. I thought I was doing it wrong. Word count, and I'm going to set it to 582. Come on, work. Come on, work. And boom. What? Unexpected identifier. Oh, I'm so anxious to make this work. It's still not working. Why you gotta hate me so much? Set word count. Return word count 250. Okay, let's just see if that's actually doing anything here. onChange sound. Oh, hold on. Wonder if that is the problem. Console.log value. Okay. Oh, you know why? I'm pretty sure I had the wrong store. Grab. Maybe not though. Let's try it again. Let's try again. set word count, and the payload, lowercase, payload is going to be word count, and we'll set it to 500, and let's dispatch. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing today. Payload is an object and it's word count. And I'm going to set it to 500. Now I should be able, if I dispatch this, there, great success. Okay, I thought I was doing something wonky. So anyway, so what this is doing now is because I have this data store, I can dispatch the set from anywhere and the data store will just update. So all I need to do now is inside of this word count, right? So I'm doing two things. I want to get the word count. I'm going to get the count from the state, and then I want to, this is going to be update the state. Update the state. Right? And we're going to do that with this use dispatch. So we already have that somewhere over here. We got this use dispatch call here. Oh no, sorry, and then word count. So I'm going to use a different function. So I'm not going to use init settings. I'm going to go to my data store, look for my actions, and I say set word count, and I'm going to grab that. And then when this value, when this changes, I'm going to set the word count, and I'm going to pass it whatever the value of word count is. And so now what we should be seeing happening is everything gets updated. When I type, it gets changed, but then also all these events are being fired. So let's run this. We're gonna make sure we got the right store selected. We're gonna look at state, right? And then let's type this 2500. So now you can see the set word count, what it's called. We've got our new state here is 2500, and this has been updated. Now if I save this, refresh it. Okay, we haven't done that part then. I guess we haven't done that part yet, have we? I think what we need to do. Okay, okay, cool. So that's the idea. So this is going to manage the internal store, the state of the store. So the other thing we have to, so that's going to handle the application portion. What we still need to handle is the initial hydration of the app, right? Which we kind of did, but I didn't do it right at all. So I think this is going to always be wrong. I think this is always going to, no matter what I change it to, when I refresh, I think it's always going to be 780. Yeah, see, it's not doing anything because that app is trying to reset. Oh, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. Corlo? I'm not saying that right, but thank you so much. Yeah, so you see, so that's what's happening. So we got this set from database. So every time can we set that? Yeah, so watch what happens. I'm gonna type. So all this crazy stuff's happening. We don't want that. That's not good. So what we're gonna wanna do is I'm gonna use a useEffect. I'm gonna say useEffect, and that should be from the WordPress element. Right, and then right at the top of this, I'm not going to need that. What I want to do is I'm going to set up a useEffect, right, and then inside my useEffect, I'm going. What am I doing here? I want it to only run once. I want it to run only when the app loads. So I pass it an empty dependencies array, and then inside of this, I'm going to call init settings. Right, I'm going to say if no settings. Oh wait, no, I want settings. Is that gonna work? I don't know if that's gonna work. This could be problematic. So I don't even need that anymore. Save it here, we need that. Okay, init settings. So this is gonna actually have to be up here. We're gonna see if this works, right? It didn't work. Okay, so we're gonna have to set this. I'm gonna add settings, and I'm gonna say if settings. So settings comes in from our database, right? we're going to set the settings, right? I don't like how this is happening. I'm not sure I like this. This is going to do the same thing. I think this is going to be the same problem. I think it's going to just constantly, no matter what I do in here, it's going to, oh no, maybe not. Okay. Okay, well, that seems to be working. I'm not quite sure why, but it's definitely working. Okay, so this is meant to hydrate the state from the database. I still, you ever like write code and you're like, something seems really wrong about this, but you're not quite sure what? That's how I feel about this. Is this wrong? Is this wrong? Oh, fixed Dex 17. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. Cool. So we're gonna leave it like that. So this is I'm gonna put my dispatches up here. So that's gonna do that. So this is gonna get our settings. So the other thing that we want to do is when we need to set the settings, and we're going to call set settings in here. Now this would be a good time for us to have a means of getting so this is going to this tells GB that the Gutenberg, the option has been changed. This actually saves to the database. So if there's let's just do another selector. Let's do that. So in our data store, we'll do a selector, and we'll just call it get settings, right? And it's going to get past. It gets past the state object. Right, and then we're just going to return. We're going to return state. Again, if there's anybody in here that does a lot of React and Redux, and if this is a horrible idea, then you just let me know. So we're going to need a useSelect in here somewhere. So let's add it here. Const. Settings from state, useSelect, select. This is our pre-published checklist store. Get settings from state. We should just be able to return that. Oops. Right. So then set settings. What is that? I think we just should be an object. I think that'll do it. Okay. All right, let's try this. So I set this to, delete this, I'm gonna set it to 582 because that's a number I'm apparently fixated on. Save that, fresh, didn't work. Oh, what's this? Maps, settings from state is not a function. Did I just completely do that? Get settings. Get settings, there we go. Let's try that. 582 and save and refresh. 582. Okay, so that worked. All right, great. So now, okay, so we have gets all settings, and it's all the settings from the state. from the store. Okay, so then we have a loading state in here. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we got word count. Now let's maybe take a look at featured image. So featured image. Again, what we're going to need is we're going to need a couple of items here, right? We're going to access our data store again. So I'm going to need to get, I'm just going to steal all this from in here. All right, so this is going to be, I'm going to call it image required. This is a Boolean. I'm going to say, where's the selector? Set, oh no, get featured images required. So this is going to return state dot required feature image. Is that what I called it? What did I call that? Required feature image. Seems backwards. Cool. So then if I call this in my thing in here, I can do this. No. In there. And then I need to get the dispatcher, the action to set featured images is required. I'm going to put it in here. Okay. So now we'll know. And so let's. Ooh, uh-oh, what did I do? Am I not? I don't think I need any of that stuff. So I want to make sure I'm not passing any of the featured image. Okay, so that false. Okay, so why is this not changing? Oh, I know why. Okay. So we want to say set featured image is going to be the opposite. Value? Is that what we're going to do? Does that make sense? No, okay, wait. Oh, that's it. That's what we want. I don't care what the value is. I just want it to be the opposite of whatever that is, right? So so this is false, so now it's true, so now it's still not working. What the deuce? Let me just go back over to my toggle control and see what I've done here. State. Oh, I like that. I'm going to put that in there. This is fun. I'm using that GitHub Copilot, and it's actually pretty awesome. Is not required for publishing. So let's see. Reducer. I wonder if I need to. Wonder if I need to make my reducer a bit more smart like that. And then I can just basically have that run. Let's see. Where am I? Over here. Okay. Let's move this down. You all can see that okay, right? So I toggle that. It doesn't work. Oh, what have I done? Oops. Okay. Where'd it go? We're here? No. Here is the opposite of required image. So, all right, data store. I'm gonna console log that out. Booleans, man. It's gonna end up being the hardest part of the whole thing. So toggle undefined. Oh, come on, dummy. That's the problem. It just wasn't passing anything correct. What's that? There we go. That's better. Okay, so the error I was running there was the function parameter I was calling, the function had a parameter of status, and I was using status as the payload as well. So I just updated that to actually be correct. And so that's why that's working. So this is not required. This is required. I'm going to make this a little nicer. I'm not a huge fan of how that looks. Label, help, checked, disable, unchanged class name. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting... Alrighty, let me jump back over here. Okay, so we've got this now. So let's save. Let's look in our data store. Okay, so this should, okay, cool. So that was actually kind of neat. So this is saving this stuff. Now this looks pretty ugly, like really ugly, but you know, I'm a backend developer, man. I think I'm going to change, I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to say require featured image. I'm going to get rid of this because I don't really like that there. Require feature image, true, minimum word count. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Did I set that to true and that didn't work? That works. Okay, so all right, so we have a data store in place. I want to get more space in there and add more things. So I'm gonna just do a bit of looking in here and see what we got in our components. There's like a I don't know, like grid? What is this, experimental? Oh, it's experimental. Horizontal stack's probably also experimental, yeah. Can I do a panel? I wonder what a panel looks like. This might be interesting. Let's give that a try. So I'm gonna pull in this stuff, panel, PaneBody, PanelRow. Okay, let's see. And I'm gonna do it in here. Oops, not like that though. Let's put it in word count. I got components already, so I'm just gonna go PaneBody, PaneBody, and get out of here, and PanelRow, and I'm gonna put this whole thing inside of a panel, and just kind of see what this does. And then how is it being used? Panel, PaneBody, PanelRow. This might not look good at all. Yeah, no, doesn't. That doesn't look good at all. Sorry, what am I doing here? So, and then what was the example? There, here, where am I? PaneBody and then a PanelRow on the inside. Okay, so let's go. PaneBody. Oh, that doesn't look bad. I don't mind that. Maybe I need to, like, what if I get rid of this wrap thing? Because if you remember, I was doing that. What if I get rid of that? It's adding a bunch of, this isn't horrible. It's not horrible at all, actually. So the PanelRow, what am I doing? I keep jumping around and not knowing what I'm doing. So let's do this. I'm just gonna add some stuff in here, see what it looks like. Okay, so panel, right? It's got a header. It's gonna be minimum, it's got word count options. Word count options. I'm gonna probably mark this for translation. I will mark this for translation. So word count options. So does this toggle? Maybe it doesn't toggle. I think I like the way that this is shaping up. I don't know. Anybody? Oh, I'm hemorrhaging viewers. Yeah, kind of got on a bit of a tangent here. So let's go like this. Nope. Word count in the PanelRow. I'm gonna add some things. I'm not gonna put that in there though. And then oh wait, no, that's sorry, that should have been PaneBody, not PanelRow. There we go. So we've got this. Interesting. And then, so maybe we don't need all that stuff. Cool. So I don't know why we need both of these. So I think what I'll do is put that in there. Oh, maybe I should do it this way. Oh, this is an idea. So in the settings screen, I'm gonna wrap this in a panel, and I'll wrap all my stuff like that in a panel. Then I don't know, panel. All right, and this will be like, maybe I can do it a different way now. Let's see. So, okay, cool. And then in my word count, save that, and just use the PaneBody in there for the word count. So we should have, oh boy, what do we do? Oh boy, I broke something. Oh, I don't need that, that's fine. Okay, so then I can go, all right, I'm gonna get rid of this here now. Oh, that looks so nice. So much nicer. What does everyone think? Is that better? Is that better? I think that might be better. And then I'm gonna actually just move the button inside of that panel too, right? And then we'll do that. So that looks good. That can toggle, okay. The button actually, it's gonna go inside of a PanelRow. Don't know why compose is in there, I don't need that. PanelRow. I need PaneBody as well. So I might end up splitting this, putting the button into its own thing. Dude, that looks a lot better. Oh yeah, that looks way better. So much nicer. Sweet. Featured image looks horrible, but we'll fix that up right now. So I need to get, I don't need panel. I need PaneBody and PanelRow. I'm gonna wrap that in PaneBody and PanelRow. Save this. And I need PaneBody. And then PanelRow and PaneBody. And this is going to be featured image options. Oh, that looks good. So now we can collapse all this stuff. Awesome. I think I'm gonna call it now because we're at almost 12:30. But the next thing that I think would be cool is being able to not in this page, be able to persist the status of this, which is just can people just use local storage for that. But this is looking much better. I'd like to be able to. Now I can add more features inside of this, and I think it'll look a lot better. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Okay, talk to you all later. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content about Gutenberg and WordPress development.